in today's crazy supercar market where everything has gone up in price. A Lamborghini Aventador, a base model from 2013 that you could pick up for maybe 200 grand back in 2020 is now 300 grand. A Pista, if you were lucky, you could get it new for maybe 350. Now used, it's 600, and the list goes on and on and on. I present to you the Porsche GT3. Specifically in today's video, a 991.1 GT3 from 2014. This car was picked up for $140,000. And in today's video, I'm going to do my best to explain why this is a phenomenal value for the money, at least in today's crazy market. Now, the 991.1 GT3 came out in 2014, which is the same year as our tester here today. In 2014, it came with the 3.8 liter flat six, and this engine, in my opinion, is the best sounding six-cylinder ever made. It has 475 horsepower. However, in 2014, this engine had massive reliability issues. Several engines were failing, and what Porsche found out was that the supplier of the connecting rod bolts had made an error when making the actual aluminum for the rod bolts. So what ended up happening was that all 785 GT3s that were made up to that point were recalled, and the owners got a brand new engine and also an extra year of warranty. So I don't really know if this specific GT3 right here was affected by that, but if it was, we know that the chassis has 25,000 miles on it. We don't really know exactly how many miles the engine has on it though. Now, it's also a known fact that Porsches have their engines in the back, and you don't really see much. All you see here is some carbon fiber, a couple fans, oil, and windshield washer fluid reservoirs right there. So yeah, that's the engine. Now, while it only has 475 horsepower for 2014, it still does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But this thing is not known to be some drag strip king in any way. What this thing does is take turns. It also has rear wheel steering. We're gonna demonstrate that here in just a minute, but take a second and just look at the lines of the 991 GT3. This is an absolutely gorgeous car. Now, along with the rear wheel steering, it's also fitted with Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. They are 305 wide, and this thing, it grips, especially in the turns. Maybe not so much during launch control, which is actually the most fun part. We're going to demonstrate that as well here in just a second. Now, while the RS version of the 991.1 got a lot bigger wing, it also had the 4-liter motor instead of the 3.8 liter motor. It actually only managed to do the Nürburgring in 5 seconds less than a GT3, but it cost a whole lot more money. So you do get a lot for the money in a GT3. And like I mentioned, this is probably the best sounding six-cylinder ever made. And I know that's going to be a big topic of debate for, you know, GTR fanboys, Golf VR6 fanboys, and so on. The list goes on and on and on. But this thing is an NA. It revs to 9,000 RPM. Try to find another car on the market that revs to 9,000 RPM, has a naturally aspirated flat six, and is straight piped by Soul Performance. I mean, again, we're going to demonstrate that here in just a second. This is just best of both worlds. I absolutely love this car. So in the back we have 305s. In the front we have 245 35s. It's 20-inch wheels all around, and we got a nice gold finish that I think goes good with the red exterior color. Now, I'm not some Porsche expert or anything like that. I love these cars. I've never had one. This is my buddy Brody's car. He's lent it to me for the weekend to make a video. So I'm basically just gonna try to give you guys the first impressions of having a Porsche GT3 and what it's like. Let's take it out on the road. And first things first. Listen to that! Oh, and it's so violent when you do launch control. I absolutely love it. This is the best car that I've ever done a launch control in, ever. It might not be the fastest car that I've ever done launch control in, but it's the most violent and the audibly best car ever to do launch control in. It just bounces off the rev limiter. And this is how Porsche designed it. It's not like me trying to kill the car or anything. Oh, God, what a car this is. Now check it out once again from a POV angle. Doing launch control is extremely simple. You don't have to click any buttons or pull any paddles or do anything like that. All you do is put your foot on the brake, smash the gas pedal, and let go of the brake. 9,000 RPM! This car revs to 9,000 RPM! And listen to the sound! What's great about Porsche is that they still make cars, these cars in particular actually, for the 992.1, the new generation GT3, they still make them in a manual. However, this car is fitted with the PDK transmission, which stands for Porsche Doppelkupplung, which is, yeah, Porsche double clutch. Now this transmission has been industry leading for years already. Shifts are just lightning quick. Now you had to wait for the RS version of the GT cars for the 991.1 to be able to pull the paddles to put it in neutral, that like you can do in many supercars nowadays. Instead you have to actually put it in neutral with the lever here. It does have a rev limiter, so it only lets you rev to 4,000 RPM. In the newer GT3s, it's still the same if you have it in park. Now, if you do put it in neutral, it lets you, you know, rev it out. Not that that's the most healthy thing that you can do to an engine when it's sitting still, but at least you get to hear that beautiful flat six. We got classic Porsche gauge clusters here. So we got all the oil temps and pressure here. We got the speedometer, obviously the tachometer in the middle. We got the GT3 badging there, and then you can flip through different gauges here on the right screen. If you guys are familiar with the RS version of this car, you know, the seats aren't quite as aggressive, but we do have Alcantara. It's just a very nice in here. It's very minimalistic too. We got puny little space here. There's no cup holder, at least not that I've found. Since it has an aftermarket exhaust from Soul Performance, the valves don't really work. They're always open. And one thing that I guess I should warn a little bit about, you know, if you guys watch my channel on the regular, you know I love loud cars. I'm not really all that crazy about drone though. And if you straight pipe a car like this, you're gonna get drone. So in certain RPMs, you're driving around on the highway, it does get very drone-y, and that's not a fun type of loud in my opinion. We got suspension button here. PDK Sport is what we're keeping it in at the moment. That's where you shift with the paddles. And then we have, you know, heated seats and just basic functions. This specific car doesn't have a backup camera, which is actually something I'm missing, but never mind that. Let's do the launch control again. We got the brake down, we got the gas pedal down. Let's go. Oh, so violent, I love it. Woo! Just listen to that soundtrack. Isn't that the most beautiful six-cylinder soundtrack that you have ever heard in your life? I mean, I know it's not a V12, but oh my God. For half the cylinders, man, Porsche engineers, they outdid themselves, that's for sure. But yeah, like we said, this car is made for turns, and it hugs the road so well. Engineered for a track, it weighs like a track car as well, extremely light. Oh my God, there's like no body roll. God, this is such an amazing car. And it's so like confidence inspiring. You feel like you trust the car. It's not like like gonna throw the rear end out and like bang into the railing. It's just so well made. So like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, in terms of value, if you were to buy a brand new, let's say you get an allocation for a brand new 992 GT3, which is amazing, by the way, and you manage to get it for sticker, you might be right over $200,000. Now, the chance of you getting an allocation and getting it for sticker, those chances in today's market are extremely slim. You're more likely to find one on the used car market, and now it's going to cost almost $300,000 because of today's crazy market. Hence a 991.1 or 2, but at .1 you get it even cheaper, and it's not really that big of a difference from a .2. You can get it for around $140,000, like this car right here, and it's tremendous value. You get performance, you get the sound, you get the looks. So in my humble opinion, then honestly, what do I really know? But in my opinion, a 991 GT3 is probably some of the best value out there on the market right now. I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments in regards to supercars. Now, it comes down to opinion on what a supercar really is, and that's a long conversation. I wouldn't call a Porsche, unless it's like maybe like a 918 or something like that, an exotic. It is, however, definitely a supercar. So on the supercar market, what do you find that's a better value at the moment than a Porsche GT3? Now, I reset this trip computer when I left the house to go film this car. Driving to the location where I usually film my car reviews, I was getting 20 miles to the gallon. Now, after doing like several launches and driving this car hard, we're still at 14.2. So, I mean, if that matters to you, this car actually gets okay fuel economy as well for a race car. And in today's day, with all these like super high gas prices, it's got to come for something, right? I try to get some tunnel runs for you guys, but unfortunately there's always traffic in Pittsburgh. But you guys might be asking, Mike, if it's such a great value and it's like the best car you can buy for the money on the market today, how come you're not buying one? And I agree, I will own a car like this at some point, that is for sure, whether it's a GT3 or a GT3 RS. But I'm gonna wait, because I'm one of those guys like, well, the market's probably gonna go down more, which I think it will. Hopefully next year we'll be looking at something like this. But let me know what you guys think of the GT3. Is it the best car on the market currently for the money, or is it some other car? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.